here with Ballot Talk. Today we're going to be explaining how Donald Trump lost the presidential election of 2020 by 44,000 votes. So, if we look at this here, 7 million vote difference. Trump also lost the popular vote in 2016. If you've not had your head under a rock in anything to do with politics, you would know that. But more specifically, if we look, here's the 2020, you can see 2020 actual results that happened on November 3rd, 2020. This is how Biden won the presidency. But if we flip these three specific states, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Arizona, then Biden would lose the presidency because it would go to a tiebreak in Congress, which Trump would win based on the amount of states that he won, the amount of states that Republicans control. But interestingly enough, if you look at this same map with redistricting that happened because of the 2020 census, and you go to the 2024 map, things are looking good for Republicans. I mean, you could even change Nebraska's 2nd district, potentially. This is the outlook for Republicans in 2024. They have a clear advantage. All they have to do is flip 45,000 people that settled for Biden in these three states, and they easily win the presidency. Back to this claim that I made, that 44,000 votes decided the presidency. So it's really very simple. If you look at Georgia's margin of victory, 11,779 votes. You look at Arizona's margin of victory, 10,457 votes after all the votes were counted. And then you look at Wisconsin's victory, 20,682 votes. So, what does that mean? It means if you add all those votes up together, you reach about 44,000. If Donald Trump had won all those votes plus one in every one of those states, then he would be at 269 votes. If you change Nebraska, he'd be at 269 votes instead of the 7 million that happened at face value. So, Donald Trump actually lost by a very narrow margin. He did way better than a lot of political pundits were expecting. If you think about it, 45,000 is infinitesimally small when you look at the entire country. And a lot of political pundits were predicting 95 to 99% chances of victory for Joe Biden. This certainly was not the case. Now, do I think Donald Trump could win again in that same scenario? Absolutely not. But looking at Joe Biden's popularity, looks like his honeymoon phase where he had a 17-point spread of approval to disapproval, and a lot of people were undecided or just wanted to be out of Trump. Over with Trump, excuse me. It's slowly declining. You see, he was at 55%, and as inflation starts to take its toll, and we have record high inflation. 35% of all U.S. currency was created within the last year. Now, that's not entirely related to Joe Biden, but it was also Donald Trump. If you look at the overall market, you can see it's we're kind of in a bubble. We should not be at all-time highs, and so you take that into account. You take a bubble that's about to burst. You take Joe Biden's relative unknownness for a U.S. president, and you take someone like Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis, who is infinitely more popular among swing voters than Donald Trump, and is actually politically capable of making some of those changes. So, if Donald Trump decides to run again, I think it's very likely that Joe Biden would keep his seat, or keep the White House. But if the Republicans put up a competent candidate, it will really just depend, because this margin of victory, it might have been slightly widened by the January 6th riots, but as you can see with his popularity, 43%, that's about where it was. That's almost exactly what Donald Trump's approval rating was. if you look at Donald Trump's approval rating, 43% up until January 6th, of course. But as you can see from Joe Biden's approval rating, the popularity he enjoyed, assumably from January 6th / honeymoon, that political unity, as you would call it, among swing voters, has really disappeared. And as you can see, we're starting to see some convergence of the polls, even among approval and disapproval. So that is not a good sign for Joe Biden, especially leading into the midterms, where Sabato's crystal ball predicted that if the Democrats receive anything less than 10% margin popularity of the generic ballot, then they lose the House, and Joe Biden is essentially hampered for anything except Supreme Court nominees. So, obviously, I've shown you that this is a real problem for Democrats in 2024. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit do whatever, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Try to do videos tri-weekly. So if you enjoyed this, watch out for the next one, and see ya.